Now it is my pleasure to introduce the keynote of today, and let me turn on my... I had to do some digging, and the advantage of computers, of course, is that you carry your whole history with you all the time. And so I had to go back to May 2015. And in May 2015, I was Superintendent of Education in the Antwerp region of Belgium, basically overlooking all compulsory education and adult education. And on May 5th, I actually still have that date, on May 5th, 2015, I received, and I think it was through LinkedIn, a message from somebody I heard of, but didn't really know, a certain Katja Schipperheijn. And she sent me this message. She said, okay, look, from what I know about you, we sort of share a common interest in where education is going and the role ICT is playing in education. So perhaps we should meet up sometime and discuss this, see what we can do with that. And she followed up the next day and said, oh, by the way, I'm already working on this platform, and you actually see part of the name there, this, where is it, sCooledu. And so basically what we are doing, and she's a compulsive writer, so she started to describe what this whole school concept was about. And I didn't translate, this was in a conversation in Dutch, so I didn't translate the whole thing, but one of the things that's, well, to some extent, it sounded like a learning management system, more or less. But then there were a few items in that description that really caught my eye. And I've translated those. And so it said, okay, maintain a digital agenda. This is for primary education. Maintain a digital agenda and take responsibility for planning, learning, and assignment. So this is interesting. This is not just pushing information. This is about developing these executive functions from the start and actually using IT for that. Okay, that was interesting, to say the least. Another thing was learning social skills with new media. Also interesting because a number of the social skills are going to change. I mean, media is going to have an effect on how we interact with each other. Okay. Also interesting. Perhaps we should look into, meet up and look into how your concepts might come to life in education. And then the one that really sort of convinced me that we should start talking was safely sharing information without fear of cyberbullying, recognizing what constitutes inappropriate behavior. We're talking 2015, we're talking ICT in primary education. And so, yes, we did start to talk, and some nice things came from that. And what I've always appreciated in how Katja approaches these things is sort of a nice balance between an entrepreneurial enthusiasm and at the same time a social concern. That's probably the right way of describing it. Concern for, let's make sure that we don't sort of start setting up something that's commercially interesting, but might be really detrimental to how we interact with each other. And let's have sort of young children already involved. Well, let's start doing that with children at a very young age. And so a couple of months later, I was just digging through my email history. I found some of the first drafts of actually the first book. It later became many books. And so then came that first book, and the translated title reads, Guidance for Parents and Educators of Young Children and Teenagers Growing Up in an Increasingly Virtual World. And so this book came out in 2018, I believe. Now, Katja holds a degree in economics, and she has an executive MBA from the Antwerp Business School. And so what happened, well, we didn't stay in touch all the time, but what I could sort of follow was that so she expanded her scope sort of beyond education and really started to embrace also the labor place. What's going on in corporations? How are they developing? How are they treating learning? How are they looking into learning? And so a number of concepts then came out. The whole the concept of Learnscape, which later then transformed into learning ecosystems. And the subtitle of her latest book is Practical Guide to Develop a Learning Strategy that Encourages a Culture of Continuous Improvement and Drives Business Success. And so the divide between education and sort of what's going on in society started to become a little bit more fuzzy, which was really interesting because, of course, they are not two different, separate worlds. Now, the question that started Katja off so many years ago is still very much at the core of her work, and that's the question, what can we learn from children? And I think that makes her work really appropriate for this conference. So, I'll give the floor to Katja. You may not always agree with her, but at least she will, I'm sure she will make you think. Okay, Katja.
This is really nice. I didn't know it was 2015, but it is indeed been a long time. I was working at that time for schools, a lot for schools, but my background was indeed in adult education. So it's very nice to hear all those things. So I'm not going to tell too much about myself, because you can Google me. And although I can manipulate Google in what you found about me, I'm going to tell you something different. Why did I start my work with children? Because my background was in adult learning. At that time, I was working for Philips Corporate University as some kind of an inventor, asking difficult questions to everybody. But I was also a mom. And being a mom defines me, because those two annoying girls changed my perspective on the world. This picture is taken almost 9 years ago. And Farah, who is on the right, one day came home and she looked at me, but I was writing, again, always writing. And when I'm sitting like this and I have this thing here, that means don't disturb mom. You might recognize it. So she comes home and she says, Mom, I need to go on Facebook. Need to go, not want to go, need to go. And I was like, no, we had this discussion. Mom, you're so old. 9 years ago, thank you. You're so old, you don't get our world. Our world is so different than yours. In my world, I don't have time to play with all my friends at school. And all the other children, they play together after school. They share stuff after school, maybe about me. Maybe they're making fun about me because I can't join them in their virtual world, Facebook. And you know what, Mom? They're also making their homework together. So if my grades will be lower than theirs, that's your fault. What are you going to do about it? She had my attention, so I looked up and I said, explain to me. And then she got afraid because she thought I was mad because she had my attention. So I said, no, really, what do you want me to do? Well, if you know better than Facebook, build me my own. So I did. I was actually working on a blueprint for corporate universities and for business schools, and I gave the technology of a social learning system, the one Koen was describing. I gave it to my children, aged 7, 8, 9, and 10 at a primary school in Antwerp. A week later, I had national television in front of my door because they said, what you're building here is digital literacy. It is seeing what children are doing online, how they work and learn together in a safe environment. I was planning to start a PhD at that time on learning ecosystems. But then my promoters, they told me, you have a crystal ball. You see the future through the eyes of children. Why would you do a PhD? So since then, I had 15,000 children in my workshops. It all started with inviting friends of my own children at home and asking them, what do you want for the future of learning? What do you want? So 15,000 children later, I'm now here with 3 books. The first, indeed, for children and educators, the others more for corporate learning. But still, I ask those questions to children. How do you want to learn? Well, this is the image a child would draw. We don't want to learn. We just want the information, the knowledge in our head. We don't want to study anymore. And then in 2016, I found this image. Does anybody knows what I'm showing here? Nobody? Neuralink? This is the first image of Neuralink from Elon Musk. Well, actually, he stole it because it was somebody else at the time. Today, and there are a lot of hypes, he's not my best friend, it's an implant in the head. So why am I showing this? I want to freak you out. In this session, I will, in a couple of seconds, tell you what the future could be. Then I want to inspire you with stuff that are already existing also in the world of our children. But I promise in the end, I will also tell you how you can get to these learning ecosystems. Also, I have too many models. So if you really want to understand how they work, I invite you to stay after the keynote and work with me on the models. So Neuralink is in the head, an implant. Who has an implant here? Somebody? Somebody from Sweden? In Sweden, it's not that abnormal because a lot of people in Sweden already have one in the hand to open doors, to find their keys. I really need to have that one. But what if it becomes normal to have this implant in our hands or in our head and that we're all connected? Like with Starlink, I think it's the same guy behind it that can monitor all our thoughts. Is it really strange? Because he also now has Twitter. And remember what my daughter was saying. All my friends are connected all the time. When I see my daughters today, 17 and 19, they have the implant. Well, it's not really an implant, but I think it's already glued to their hand. Next step, it is going to go into the hand. They're always connected. What if we can all be connected? Anybody knows where I took this picture? Nobody? I took this picture in 2020 in Dubai, the Russian pavilion, shaped like a brain. The topic, superminds, how we all connect to each other and technology to think together. Is this the future? Well, with what I am seeing recently, I don't know. But we are all thinking together. These superminds might be the future. The symbiosis of humans and machines coming together to make us think together. Moore's law, we all know. Is there somebody who doesn't know Moore's law? Speed of innovation doubling every year, together with some other laws that also the price of those innovations is going down every 2 years. Well, to give you an idea how fast it is going, some professors at MIT claim that if you can compare it with a rice 1 grain at the first corner, and you double every 2 years, then you have more rice halfway, the end of halfway, than was produced on a global scale in the year 21. I like numbers. So if you double that, that's how much rice you will have next year. Why do I say this? We can't imagine that. We can't imagine the future. So, my clicker is going fast. What is driving this change? What is it that we really need to focus on? Is it a black swan like the pandemic? Did really things change with the pandemic? The way that you worked really changed, or are we still trying to look back how we used to work together? Well, the thing is, what is driving change? What am I going to say? What word? Children. Children are driving the change. We have to start looking at children. Can I ask everybody here, who has children? All of you almost? Okay, children under 12 or grandchildren under 12. Okay. So many of you who has no children under 12. Okay, come back to you later. When I ask these children, how do you want to learn? On TikTok. So I still visit schools around the globe and I ask the children, where are you learning actually more? On TikTok or school? TikTok. Anybody here has no account on TikTok? No account. Okay, install TikTok. Lesson number 1. Look at BookTok. Books are becoming a hype again because of TikTok. Am I really a fan? No, there's a lot of privacy issues with it, but I just want to bring you in the flow before you start throwing tomatoes. By the way, Koen, check, there are no rotten tomatoes on the entrance, so I can say my stuff. So install all TikTok. Yeah, I know. But go with the concept of TikTok. Why am I saying TikTok? Because the way the system works with the algorithms, how they can connect people from all over the globe with a similar interests, the layers that they have in their neural networks is huge. If we can learn from that to other systems, Is coming down? Oh, this is better for my voice. It's always there. I played with it. I made these girls start talking about how bad they were feeling, about life, that it sucked, going to almost, I want to kill myself. Before the kids could say, I want to kill myself, the virtual friend knew that there was something wrong. It was interfering in a good way. It was better than these call channels where you can go. It was detecting that there were problems with children. Am I really happy with it? But I try to see at the positive sides of these children being helped. So this is what I want to tell you as well. We can be always negative about the future, but it is there. And our children are working with every day. So are we cheating? Yesterday I heard somebody say that coding will be assisted by AI. Harvard introduced it a week ago. But I know platforms for children that are using it for many, many years, like Code Fever, a Belgium app. They have technology with the University of Ghent for children with autism to help them to become programmers on their own piece. Help with AI. Nothing new there either. And I'm going to now inspire you with some innovations that I really like this one. Anybody knows what it is? It's from the MIT lab, and it's a Belgian professor, so I'm proud to share it, Fatima's. It is glasses. And if you all had these glasses, I'm going to check if my timer, if you all had these glasses, I could monitor if you're looking at me, paying attention, falling asleep. The people that are virtually not here. I know if you think I'm interesting, because if you're falling asleep or looking on your phone there, the data is telling me. I don't need net promoter scores anymore at the end of my talk, because the data will tell me that you actually want to throw Rotten Tomatoes at me because you're falling asleep. Imagine that I could also buzz you because my data is telling you you're not paying attention. As a professor, that might be quite fun, but also when we're in a virtual environment. By the way, why am I showing this one? This technology is now being used for truck drivers. So some of these inventions also go into other spaces. This one, for example, and we can talk about them later, is to encode things in your memory, the Palace methodology. I like this really a lot. I'm going to give it to my husband when he goes for grocery shopping. This one, for example, I put in there yesterday because I saw one of the posters, and it's about the ease of using augmented reality and virtual reality. I can do it with this. It's just going to hurt. It's no-code AR and VR. Lufthansa and Pfizer are using it to train their people. Anybody, even a child, especially a child, can make learning programs in AR and VR right now. And is this also changed? If we look at healthcare, we've been inspired many years, holograms. I ask some teachers in primary schools, do you know a hologram? And they go, no. So I say, Google Abatur 2022. They've been using this in healthcare for so many years. And still in other sectors, they think it is new. It is not that new. This is my good friend, Raphael. He has been using Google Glasses since 2013, when he was operating at university. He allowed students from all over the world to have a first row ticket in his class, socializing healthcare education. Today he is performing with a haptic glove and a cobot from his office in the United States on a patient in a field hospital in Africa. Of course, a couple of years ago they needed 5G, they're now looking into 6G because you can imagine that thing in your hologram and the Wi-Fi is disconnected. You all have the image. I know that tomorrow somebody is talking about digital twins. in education for engineerings. This also has been there for many, many years. If you look at some countries like in Saudi Arabia, where they now have the NEOM project, I don't know if you know it. If you don't know it, look it up. They are actually going a step further than a digital twin. It will be a predictive digital twin. They will know when you're craving for a cookie, because they will send it before you know that you want it. That's the future, not monitoring, but predicting the future. This brings me to a lot of hypes. The Metaverse. It's actually a little bit gone. Now it's all ChatGPT, but a year ago it was all Metaverse. And we were all thinking that the future would be with these big goggles on, and I was looking at what can it do for the Ediverse. I come back to that. But it is not all about these goggles, because they're even experimenting right now. Actually, no, they just stopped it because of the funding with AR and VR in your contact lenses. I have contact lenses. How easy it would be that I can see your name popping up. I see your background popping up. I always forget names. But that is the future. It already exists. And normal glasses like yours already have an augmented reality feature on it. So in the future, we might live indeed in this dual world. Anybody from Korea here? No? In Korea, they're taking the Metaverse to the next level. You can go to university in the Metaverse. It's a hype. It's just digital, but they use it for everybody. In the UAE, in Dubai, the Future Foundation, they're looking for protocols for the Metaverse to monitor it, but a real Metaverse is owned by the people on the blockchain in the Metaverse. So there can't be control from external organizations or countries. Again, a hype like this one. Google police in the Metaverse. Dubai police in the Metaverse. Yes, you can now discuss everything, but is this the Metaverse? No, but it is nice because actually this technology is translating. The people from the Dubai force, they don't speak English. So you can now interact in your own language. As a female, you can go free to a police station, which you couldn't do. So I'm looking for what can we learn from all these technologies to make it better. For example, what if I want to get married in the Metaverse? What would be the advantage? You can mute your mother-in-law. That's the only advantage that I found by now. In my case, my own mother. But there are some things. Fortnite. Who knows Fortnite? Who has an account on Fortnite? Who thinks Fortnite is bad? Oh, many more I see in the eyes. Only one hand goes up. 2020, global pandemic. Travis Scott. Does anybody know Travis Scott? Well, he was with one of the Kardashians. Probably you know her. Travis Scott wanted to do a concert. But of course, we know why he couldn't do the concert. So he decided with the people from Fortnite to create this experience in Fortnite. So he went into this human avatar creator. So when he was, I was told by my children, don't do the dance anymore, so I'm not going to do the dance. You all want me to do the dance, I know. He was dancing in this human avatar creator. So he was actually dancing real life. Everybody that attended was also dancing front row again. Afterwards, we asked people, by the way, 45 million people attended his concert, biggest concert room in the world, 200,000 people. How many years he needs? I'm not going to do that one today. People told me it felt if they had a front row ticket, they could touch them, they could dance with them, they almost could smell him. That's what immersive experience can do. Can you imagine me being here, but actually not being here, like what ABBA was doing, and that you do feel that you were looking at me, being with me? What would that do for the future of education? I think the Ediverse is something that we have to look at. How can we use all these technologies, like blockchain, like VR, to create these new environments for learning. And again, I saw some nice examples yesterday already with like things like Virbella. Anybody knows like Virbella? But that's really difficult. I tried to play soccer on Virbella. I suck at it in real life, but even worse on Virbella. But what about Roblox? Who has Roblox account? More than you have an account? Do they create stuff on it? How old is he? And the creator? Oh, but we have creators from 9 years. I was in Curacao only last month, and I asked a question to the children. I said, and somebody is creating here? And there was this little girl, 10 years old, and she went like, I said, are you making games for your friends? Are you earning Robux with it? Which is the currency used on it. Do your parents know? This kid, 10 years old, is creating 3D animated games for her friends, making probably already a lot of money. She now needs to go to secondary school, which probably will be very boring for her, especially in the region that she's living. I think we should hire her when she becomes 12. Skip school. You don't need a bachelor in game development. You already earned it on the Robux University because there is an academy, a social academy. Those children are teaching each other how to do it. There is a formal academy on it. And if they are good, they don't get micro-credentials, they get Robux. Why do we still need school if we can create environments like this? This is what children are doing. More than 50% of all children under 15 around the globe have a Robux account. Would you all have a look at it, please? Because it will dramatically change the future of learning. Okay, enough about technology. Just very fast. I'm a human person. People see me as a techie, but I love people. And I think especially in primary education, secondary education, we also have to focus on some competences that makes us human next to these robots. We need to all have more imagination, curiosity, optimism, especially all of you, openness, critical thinking, combined with understanding that we're all different and all have our own opinion and that we don't have to fight about it. You can hate ChatGPT, try to find common ground on how to use it in a positive way. Entrepreneurship, what I was trying to teach already children in primary education. Resilience, not too much, because if you really come like, I can handle everything, you might lose empathy. And consilience. For those who don't know what it is, read the book, Consilience, the Unity of Knowledge. How two completely different things like nature and art can get you new perspectives on the world. Children can do that really good to create a growth mindset altogether because they're all connected. That's where we want to go. But again, I promised to also give you some tips because very nice, all these new technologies, but where to start? How to implement them? How to make sure that our stakeholders are involved? I create this 5-step model that I will explain to you, but first of all, slow down. Slow down to accelerate innovation. Don't jump on everything that you see. Slow down, take a step back, and start over. Be inspired by nature. Fibonacci, Kaizen, a sunflower, always growing stronger and stronger. This is also what I use of my 5 steps for continuous improvement. Be aware that after step 5, what comes back? Step 1, continuous improvement. I will explain it very shortly, but as said, afterwards, those that want to see more about some of the models that are also presented in my book, they can stay with me, and I'm happy to share my knowledge and learn from your knowledge, because actually I want to learn from you. Because I'm still building more materials. This is the maturity model for learning ecosystems I draw in 2014. I will explain it later on. The thing is that most companies, I call them data repositories. Companies, organizations, universities, all alike. So when I say companies, I mean organizations. This can be an NGO, this can be a university, this can be a multinational, this can be a small company. Data repositories. Knowledge is stuck in data systems or in the head of people. Expertise. Professors, really good at not sharing everything. Just what we want to share. And then we see different levels of organization. Some are broadcasters. They think they share, but they just sending information with all the information overload. We don't read those emails anymore in these WhatsApp groups. We need to go to social collaboration as a first step to win, that we learn from the people that we want to work with. A lot of intranets in organizations do this very well. Think again of TikTok. TikTok is connecting children that are not in the same system. So when I was drawing this in 2014, I wanted AI to connect me with real experts and data all over the globe. In 2014, the technology was not available. Today it is. So how can we shift our organizations to use technology to connect humans and data for performance and well-being growth, both of them? Another concept that I can explain is lean learning. It's like lean technology, whatever, but it's eliminating waste. For example, if we have a lot of experts in engineering companies, there's a lot of knowledge stuck in the heads of people, but they don't share it, and all this knowledge is waste. Because when they leave the company, it's just waste. An LMS system with a lot of e-learnings not being used, overproduction. So when you want to create a learning environment, you also have to look at what is actually waste. We also have to rethink about how we measure performance, because a lot of the systems that we are using to measure performance is not lean. Because measuring human collaboration and learning in the moment of need is difficult. I have to say, I didn't really crack it how we should do performance measurement, but it is completely shifted with AI being a professor and a mentor as well. So, if you want to go to lean learning ecosystems, we want to shift through the learning maturity model. What are the 5 little steps that we can do? First of all, the discovery phase. This is the most important step. It all starts with why. I'm going to give you an example. We need a new learning management system. Katja, can you help us find it? Why? Why do you need a new one? Yeah, people are not using it enough. So, why are they not using it? I'm a really annoying person. I was this curious kid at school, always asking why. They actually send me out of the room. They still do that with children that are always asking why. This is my biggest talent. Why? When my children did it, I also got frustrated, I have to admit. But I need to find the root cause, because we only see the tip of the iceberg of the problem. We only see what is relevant to us, not what is relevant to our stakeholders. So when we try to fix the problem, we're only fixing the tip of the iceberg and not what is really driving it. When we only fix the tip of the iceberg, for example, we want a new LMS, it will take me 2 years to implement it. If it's for the Belgian government, take 5 years. By then, we already found a work around it. We don't need the LMS system anymore. We need to start with reverse engineering. What is it that our stakeholders need in the future that we can start building on today? We have to look at algorithmic business thinking. how one part of the ecosystem is impacting another part. You know, the butterfly effect? If you change this, other things are going to be impacted as well, other people. So the why discovery phase is the most important step. Then we need to create, and I call it still a burning platform, because of the analogy with it. We have to take risks sometimes, because there is no good option. And we have to convince the no-nos. We know who the no-nos are, Katja? Those people that don't want to change. We need to make them our ambassadors. Again, in Belgium, these are the unions, but I don't think it's only in Belgium. We have to convince them. We have to create a case together with everybody. It will really help with implementation. Third step, yes, here we're going to look at technology. But not only technology, also to the content that we want on the technology. If you do technology in the first step, then probably there is a smart vendor telling you that his solution is a solution for almost everything. If you see in the mapping there, you will see that some of the technologies, it's from Jules Bursing, they cover everything. That's not possible. Later, for those that want to stay, I want to talk about learner personas. How to create learner personas before we are going to look at technology. And this has nothing to do with learning preferences. It's about technology, tools, and culture, how they all go together. This is an example that I have in my book. It's the ODAP model to select technology. Objectives, options, dimensions, and only after that you're going to analyze and you're going to look for proposals. This is from Professor Thomas Malone at MIT. I changed it a little bit so that you can do it in 2 steps. So first you're going to look at what is it that we actually want, and in the second step you redo it with technology. In this you will see that customized microlearning app with an authoring tool is actually the best ID for this company. This is a real case where a company needed to speed up learning in the moment of need for thinking about learning personas, people with a very low level of education, young, not longer than 2 years in one company and moving on. They first wanted to do mentoring, but that was too time consuming, so we decided to go for the microlearning tool. So this is a model that you can use very easy with the stakeholder to select the right technology for your target group. If you would then draw this in how the ecosystem would look, this is from another customer. This is another customer that they're engineers. They need to recruit a lot of new engineers, but with the war for talent, they don't find them. They also had the problem, the waste, a lot of information in the head of the engineers. Mentoring also didn't work, so they were not sharing the knowledge within the company. They're all working on different locations, different factories. So they had a lot of, for me, low-hanging opportunities because I did the deep dive. I didn't ask them what were the problems. I turned them into opportunities. I say, so we can actually use the knowledge in the head of those people to reward them, make them ambassadors, and also use this, we feed it back into the LMS, and this was Learning Cloud that we selected. It's like an LMS where you can put influencers on it. It's really good for young people because they make their TikTok-like videos, and if they get rewarded, they get a bonus, and the really good ones, they use it to go back to social media to attract new talent, showing the culture of the company. So we made this loop. And this is how you can create a learning ecosystem. There are still some things that can be better, but I will show you it is in this step 3 already a very nice example on how you can grow and how you use the ODAP model to create these flows. 4th step, and yeah, for those who want to stay longer, I can explain you all the cases that are there. Joint execution. Okay, now we have it. Now we have to convince the ambassadors to start sharing their knowledge because it all sounds very simple, but we had poster campaigns on it. We had leadership. So I always ask, for example, when I go to a company or even to a university, is your CEO on the learning management system? When was the last time he used it? Does he have any idea what you're doing? Learning is not their type of mind. Actually, learning is seen as a cost. And again, also universities, how you all work together, you're not different than an organization. You're also a company where you have to learn from each other and collaborate together. Your clients are students, but again, there's not so much difference. So leadership is very important for joint execution. Another thing is collaboration. Many organizations still have silos. This is a model that I'm making with Anna, my friend in Dubai. I used to be in marketing. She still is in marketing, teaching social media and all those stuff. We are now trying to map learner personas from everything that we know in marketing. So where can I reach these people? For example, when I want to convince my grandmother to buy a different kind of shampoo, I don't find her on TikTok. The way that she wants to be convinced is not on TikTok. We have this campaign, by the way, in Belgium to have more teachers, more people wanting to become a teacher. They made that campaign on Instagram. No, you don't find the people on Instagram. Otherwise, that keeps beeping. That means that I still have 3 minutes, which is good because I only have 3 slides left. Learner personas, happy to discuss it with you. Then the last step is future growth and improvement. I told you, it actually only starts after the last steps. Then we get insights, we use skies, and what was working, what not, why did it not work? You see, it all starts over again. A very funny one, and I liked a lot, was from Paul MacDonald-Smith. He compared the learning ecosystem with Mendeleev, the table of digital elements. Who knows Mendeleev very well, because then I have to be careful. Okay, I don't know it anymore, too long ago. I know that if you combine elements from different parts in the table, we create new things. I still remember H2O. That's the only one. Don't ask me how it works, because that I don't remember anymore. Think of it as table of digital elements, wearables, data systems, different kind of artificial intelligence, like machine learning, whatever. All these different elements, but I want to create a learning journey based on my learning personas and what I was drawing, then I can create different paths for everybody. Today with technology, with XAPI, we can connect all this system to each other. The one that I was showing for VR creation, no code, it has APIs that can connect with any LMS system. If I want to reach my young people in a shop, I will make the front end a micro-learning system. But when I'm working with my operators in a factory, they'll probably use a VR set because they need to have their hands free. But the content is on the same system. You see how we create these flows? Very much inspired by Mendeleev. Told you that I would stay on time. My next question is for you. I want to know how you're going to use this information. I would love to hear back from you. I have one book here with me for the person that gives me the best idea by the end of this morning. That person can get the book. Or you come to me, or you send it to me via probably LinkedIn, mail, but the best way is just stay with me, come with me, and I have one book to give away. Thank you very much.